Hello, one, and I've been a huge fan and longtime fan of Halo ever since I was a little kid. I've played every Halo game so many times. I remember when I was a little kid, I would kind of run around the house, and this is all true, by the way. I would run around my house pretending like I was a Spartan and like I was in Halo and all that. I remember when I first saw like Halo books, like the Halo books that they make, like at Barnes and Noble. I freaked out. I really wanted all of them, but my mom could only like afford one, so I was like, okay, I'll get this one. It was Fall of Reach. Now, as someone who hates reading, like I hate it so much, like I do not like reading. Like I read through that entire book and I loved it. It was awesome. I'm doing a playthrough right now of Combat Evolve, like where I only use pistols. It's a lot of fun right now, even though it's hard, especially with like the flood and all that. I've said that I don't like them, but like, it's so much fun, and I do think that if you are a Halo fan, you should do that challenge as well. It's so much fun. But now I say all this because the Halo game I'm talking about today and going to be defending, and you guys can decide whether or not I do a good or bad job defending it. But this is quote unquote the worst Halo game and the game that ruined Halo by many Halo fans, and that's Halo 5. Now I disagree with all these people a lot. I love Halo 5. It's a really good game. I have so much fun with it. And it's hard being a fan of this game because how fans kind of treat the game and how other Halo fans treat the fans who like this game. So you know what? Let's just get started. So, I feel like before I talk about Halo 5, I should talk about 343, the people who are making Halo, who developed this game. Now, 343 became in charge of Halo on March 31st, and would release their first game, Halo 4, on November 6th. Now, Halo 4 is one of my favorite games, one of my favorite Halo games. It's really my third favorite after Halo 3 and Combat Evolve. And don't worry, I am planning on making a video defending Halo 4 as well, because I don't see as much hate for it anymore, but I still see like some hate. Not as much Halo 5 though. But I wasn't really in this community, the Halo community, until like after Halo 4 came out a little bit. And then I started getting more and more in. And I was surprised by the amount of people who didn't like it. Like the people who didn't like it, who complained about how it was too much like Call of Duty because we had loadouts and kill cams, and I was like, anyway, you can sprint around. I'm like, what? Like it felt nothing like Call of Duty to me. It felt like Halo. Like it felt like the game that I've played. It felt like the franchise that I've played like I don't know how many hours of like previously. But overall, I've heard like positive things about Halo 4. And when we got the trailer for Halo 5, so many people were excited, myself included. Now, many people complain about the fact that 343 marketed this game wrong. And how like they marketed one thing, but then it turned out different. And I have to agree with that. Like the marketing kind of was being like, Locke versus Chief, find out a true story, and then it was completely different. But like it's still Locke going after Chief, looking for him. It's just not the way we would have really wanted it. So let's go ahead and just talk about the story. Now I was going ahead and start this off with saying, yes, Halo 5 story is the weakest. Like out of every Halo game, I will say this is the weakest story. I would probably just say it's a little over ODST for me, because ODST, like, story is kind of... It wasn't that great to me. I do love the game, but the story wasn't that great in ODST, but Halo 5 is the weakest. But I still think it's good, and it has its moments that are great. Like the opening cutscene to first level is so awesome. And that cutscene really shows what Spartans should be like. Are supposed to be like sorry you heard that noise, that's my Xbox in the background, but like Spartans are supposed to be like these super soldiers who make things look easy and are able to run around, thrust, ground pound, and all that. Take like easy, these super soldiers, and this is what they are supposed to look like. But like previous Halo games, they didn't. Simply, they just moved around like a little faster than normal Marines, sometimes even slower. And I remember like some people in that opening scene were like, "What about fall damage?" Fall damage was really the dumbest thing to have in Halo, since you're a Spartan, a super soldier who can survive a fall from space. Like you can survive a fall from space, but not like jumping off a cliff or something like that in Combat Evolved. Like that's stupid. Now, like one of the biggest complaints I hear is how Jewel Madonna was killed off. He wasn't like but the thing is, he wasn't the first major villain who's been killed off in a bad way. His death, I won't say is perfect, but it's not as bad as another character that has already been in Halo, and it's probably a regret. Now, people can make the argument that Regret was at least a character for like 5 minutes in the game for Halo 2. But that makes his death a lot worse to me. Like how he dies, that makes it a lot worse. Jewel Madonna, we get this cool cutscene of Fireteam Osiris taking down Jewel Madonna. You get like Locke sliding on the ground and stabbing him. Regret, you just punch him. Like you can't blow him up. You can't blow him up with a rocket. You can't stick him with a grenade. You can't shoot him. You just have to go up and punch him. And I'm just like, and it looks like Chief's just tapping him in. I remember when the first time I saw that, I was like, what? Like, that's it? And the fact that Regret was a character throughout the whole game until like his death make his death even worse, because it's like all that and this is how he died. Like, come on. And after this, we have the level Blue Team, which I think does a good job not just showing the relationship Chief has with Blue Team, but how much Cortana's death impacted Chief with like Chief's like Master Chief's like fingers like shaking a little. Who at this point we haven't seen like this ever. And like Fred even says,
like since we were in boot camp.
He's fine, Fred.
This many missions non-stop.
Now this is the level where Cortana tells Chief to go and find her and like where she needs to go. This is kind of where we figure out that Cortana's still alive, which we'll get into, don't worry. Now this causes Chief to go AWOL because he wants to go find her, and this causes Fireteam Osiris to go after Chief and find him because he's AWOL. So it still becomes Chief versus Locke, even though it wasn't what we wanted it to be. Honestly, like that, Locke is just doing his job here. Like, he's not looking for Chief because he betrayed the UNSC. He's just doing his job. And really my favorite line is part of my favorite line of the whole game is when Buck says,
every other Spartan, every soldier, when they hear about this, they're gonna hate us. You know that, right?
Locke is busy trying to get the Chief back, while also trying to stop Cortana after they find out that she's activated Guardians, which just look awesome, and like have the ability to police entire solar systems and galaxies. Like, they just look awesome. We also met the Warden Eternal, which was created solely to defend Cortana and allow her to get her plan to work. And I love that he knows Chief's going to side against her. He knows that Chief isn't on her side, and that like she's basically blinded by that. I will agree, the fights with him do get annoying. Like, they get annoying after a while. But I do like the last like 2 battles you have with him. One's like the last battle you have with him as Fireteam Osiris, and the last one you had with Blue Team. And like I said at the beginning, Halo 5 does have the best story, but that doesn't mean it's bad. I will admit, what they advertised in the trailers for Halo 5 and Halo 2 Anniversary probably would have been better, but like, we don't know what happened. Like, as far as I know, we don't know why they changed their mind. Like, they probably just changed their mind for some reason, or they were running out of time or money, and because you can't do everything that you want to do when making something. because you just run out of time or money and all that. But just because we didn't get what we wanted, that doesn't mean it's bad. Now I feel like we should talk about the characters of the game. Now I think the characters are all great, except like Palmer, who I've never liked. And I love that they bring Locke. Like, Locke is kind of this strong silent type. He's kind of like that character, is like, don't mess with me. But he's able to joke around with like Buck. Like Buck and his team, he's able to joke around with. And Buck is really one of my favorite characters in all of Halo. I loved him in ODST, and he comes back. We also have Tanaka and Vale, which are both awesome characters. Now, we don't see as much of a relationship between Tanaka and Vale as we do like between Locke and Buck, but like I'm fine with that, really. Maybe people complain about Fireteam Osiris that we don't know any of them. They weren't developed well enough. Like, they are just brought in, but like just from Halo 5 alone, we already know Buck was an ODST who became a Spartan. Locke, they even made a movie called Nightfall showing his backstory a little. And again, we know he used to be an Oni assassin who volunteered to assassinate the Arbiter, but didn't actually do it. Tanaka survived the collapsing of a home planet. And Vale learned how to speak St. Haley because she was bored. And she did really well on the physical exam, so she was able to become a Spartan. My biggest problem with this complaint about how we don't know anything about them and this is brought in, what did we know about Master Chief in Halo Combat Evolved? Like, really, just from the game itself, not from the books. All we knew was Chief was the last of his kind, he was built for war, and was able to use any weapon, and was a super soldier, and that's it. And like, don't bring up the books, don't bring up, bro, the books say this, like, I'm just talking about the game here, because I'm only using the game for Halo 5, and people only use the game for, like, we don't know anything about Fireteam Osiris. Just the game. Like, we really learn more about I would argue we learn more about Fireteam Osiris than we do about Chief in Combat Evolved. Like, Halo Combat Evolved, we didn't really learn or know anything about him, and we were fine with it. And I would even say we didn't learn anything until Halo 4, really, when Chief kind of became more of a character. And Blue Team as well, we learned just from the opening scenes, they care about each other, they've been together for a long time since boot camp, and they see each other as a family. So, like, but I would say and argue that we learn more about Fireteam Osiris and Blue Team in Halo 5. We learn more about them than we did about Chief in Combat Evolved or just Halo 2 and Halo 3. Now look, I love those games, and Halo 3 is my favorite game of all time, and my favorite Halo game, but we didn't learn anything about Chief. He was just someone for the player to be. And like, he said a few lines, but that's it. We didn't learn anything about him until like Halo 4. Now I feel like we should talk about Cortana and the whole thing around her. Now, unlike everyone, it seems like I do not think Cortana being in the game ruined her death in Halo 4, because the Cortana we knew ever since Combat Evolved is dead. Like, she died, and after playing through the game many times, I can see that this isn't the Cortana that we knew, just by how she looks and acts. She seems a lot mad, she hates Halsey, and remember at the end of Halo 4, Cortana like separated herself. Like, she separated her rampant selves and all that, and make many copies. So it kind of made sense that this would be a rampant Cortana. Because I feel like you would have to do something with that, like with the rampant Cortanas, instead of just leaving it alone. I love that Cortana is able to get all the AIs except like Roland to side with her and turn against humanity and UNSC. I hope that 343 like continues with this, since like we have no AIs left. Roland's the only one left in Halo Infinite who actually sided with the UNSC. Alright, I've talked about 343 a little, and the story. I think now it's about time to talk about the gameplay. Now, the gameplay is like any other game, like any other Halo game really. It's not that different. Really the only difference is you can sprint and you have Spartan abilities now. Like, you can now like sprint and ground pound and thrust. And I love these being in the game. It makes it so much fun. But a lot of people complain about, like, especially having sprint in the game. Look, if you do not like sprint, just don't use it. Like, it's that simple. I've said this many times to like other people who like complain about it. The game never forces you to use it. Like, I think at most the game only does it twice. Like, only twice does the game actually force you to use it, and that's to Spartan charge through a wall in the first 2 levels. And that's just being like, hey, here's this new move for you to use. And some people are even like, well, the game is built around sprint. Like, it's not. Like, it's not. You can play through the whole game without sprinting. And if you die a lot more because of that, that's your fault. You handicapped yourself. Like, it's not the game's fault because you decided to do something. There's been, like, people who have hated sprint ever since Halo Reach. And again, just don't use it. I've played Halo Reach so many times. I never use sprint. I always use drop shield in order to get more health. Because I do not like how Bungie really handled sprint. And really the biggest problem with this is people who don't like sprint, they make fun of the people who do and who want sprint in older Halo games. And like, even some big Halo YouTubers do this as well, and it just bugs me. I would love if sprint was in older Halo games, especially Halo 3, because even though I love that game, you move so slow in that game. But no one complains about it, especially in the multiplayer. You move so slow and you have these giant maps, but you move so slow in them. And like in Halo 4 and 5, but just focusing on Halo 5, you can easily just not sprint or use the Spartan abilities if you don't like. I feel like people think that if it's in the game, that means you have to use it, but you don't. Halo Reach, I never used sprint. Halo 4, I never used the armor abilities, because I don't like how they are handled in them. I don't like how they are handled in the game. And the thing is, Spartan and armor abilities has kind of been Halo since the beginning, with overshield, active camo. In Halo 3, we had equipment like bubble shields and cloaking, but it's fine. Then, like, no one complains about them. And look, it's fine if you don't like them, just don't use them. That's simple. Like, the game never forces you to use it. And now, I think would be a good time to talk about the multiplayer. The multiplayer of Halo 5 is really the best multiplayer in Halo. Like, it's so much fun, I love it. And it's really what got me into Halo multiplayer. I wasn't really that into multiplayer until Halo 5. And I love playing it, and I get into games really quickly, like compared to like Master Chief Collection and all that. You know, Master Chief Collection is mostly just Halo 3. But I know some people that say, like, especially for like Warzone, that Halo 5 is pay to win, that you have to pay like real money in order to like win the game, but it's not. Like, at most, I think it's just cosmetics, but I've played so much of the game, I haven't spent a single penny on the game since I got it. The last time I actually spent money on Halo 5 was when I bought the game. And nothing has changed at all. But I feel like, especially now, people hear microtransactions and people freak out. They're like, oh, companies are just trying to get money from us. And they don't care when it's just cosmetics. Like, when it's cosmetics, I'm like, I don't care. Like, I'm like, whatever. I'm not defending microtransactions, but when it comes to like just cosmetics, I don't see a problem with it. And if people go and buy it, that's their money. Like there's people who like non-stop complaining, like, it's like you're tricking people and all that. It's their money. If people go and buy it, that's their decision. I don't like it when someone tells me what I should and should not do with my money. I'm gonna buy whatever I want. I won't buy whatever I want. I've regretted spending money on stuff, and sometimes I'm happy with like what I've spent money on. But that was my choice. That was my choice. I'm like, I'm spending my money. It's not anyone else's. In all my years of gaming, I haven't bought a single microtransaction. But if people want to buy them, that's their choice. Not mine. I'm not going to tell them they're wrong for doing that. And I haven't spent a single penny on this game since I got it. Like, multiplayer I hear the least amount of complaints for, but especially, like, but this is really what I mostly hear about, is simply just the fact that there's microtransactions. Like, just don't buy them. And if people are buying them, that's their choice. Like, come on. But like, I mostly hear complaints about the campaign rather than the multiplayer. Now, really, honestly, I do not care if you hate Halo 5. You can like whatever you want. You can dislike whatever you want. And I think people think that me making this video, I'm saying you have to like Halo 5. If you don't, you're wrong. But I'm not saying that, and I hate that mindset. That's really the mindset that this community has, and why I'm upset with this community. I made that rant video like a few days ago, and like some people responded is like, well, yeah, it make like some people, like, they responded like just fine, but then others like, well, you like Halo 5, then it makes sense why you hate Halo fans. Like, I've been called a fake fan. I've been called a pretender who's just pretending to like Halo. And that rant video, people are like, well, you like Halo 5, but you hate Halo fans. Makes sense. Like, that's why I made that whole video. Because that's simply just because I like 343's Halo. And someone who's loved every Halo game, I spent so many hours just playing it. Being called a fake fan and having Halo fans basically make fun of not just me, but other Halo fans who just like what 343 is doing and who is like Halo 5 is annoying and frustrating. But that's why I mentioned all that stuff at the beginning, because I'm just frustrated. I'm frustrated about just how everyone is like treating the Halo fans who like Halo 5. Look, the people who don't like Halo 5, who hate it, and they hate it, they think it ruined Halo, but then they never talk about it, I'm fine with. Those people I'm fine with. Those aren't the people I'm mad at. Those aren't the people that, when I say I hate the Halo community, that's not who I hate. The people who I hate, the people who get on my nerve, and the whole reason I made that whole rant video, are the people who hate it so much, but they can't stop talking about it. Anytime anything comes about Halo 5, they have to say how bad it is. Now look, I'm not saying you can't give criticism, but like, at this point, it's no longer criticism, it's just making fun of the Halo fans who like Halo 5, calling them fake fans for liking Halo. Even though I'm pretty sure most of these people who like Halo 5, myself included, has been playing since Combat Evolve. A good example, like, for me, is like Fallout 4. Now, I don't really like Fallout 4 that much. Like, at most, it's average to me. It's okay to me, but I don't really like it that much. I haven't even played it in like a long time. I don't even remember the last time I did, but I don't go around telling people how bad Fallout 4 was. I don't tell people who loved Fallout 4 that they are fake fans because they liked it. I don't care. Like, I'm not going to talk about it. Probably the only time I am going to talk about it is when I do a playthrough of it eventually. But that was the whole reason I wanted to make this video, and why I made that rant video a while ago. Because how Halo fans are basically treating the fans who like Halo 5 is crazy, and they basically isolate all of us who like Halo 5, who like 343, and they're like, you're not real fans because you like 343 and you don't think Bungie is perfect. And the thing is, that's how they act. Like, that's how they act. They act like everything Bungie does is perfect, but 343 sucks, and if you hate 343, then you're not a real Halo fan. You know, if you don't like something, just don't talk about it. Like, if if you don't like Halo 5 and you never talk about it, you love Halo, but Halo 5 you never talk about, you haven't played it in so long, and you just never talk about it, I'm fine with. Those people I prefer over, because they're like, yeah, I don't like it, but I'm not going to talk about it. But those people who, on any post about Halo 5, any videos talking positively about Halo 5, like, it's probably going to be in this video, they have to go and tell everyone how bad Halo 5 is, how Halo 5 sucks, and how 343 ruined Halo. Like, just on anything positive about Halo 5. And like frankly, I've gone over the false marketing that 343 did. And I've gone over how the story isn't the best. And not being what they advertised. I've gone over it. And simply because not because I'm fine with it, I'm like, oh, if 343 should keep doing it, I'm just like, I don't care anymore. I don't care anymore that is not what we were promised. I don't care anymore that what we got in Halo 5 is different than what they advertised. I don't care. Like, if really all it does is complaining about it non-stop, it won't change. Us complaining about it won't make Halo 5 this perfect game. Like, it's not going to change. Like, I'm fine with what we got in Halo 5. Other people might not be, but you know what? Just don't talk about it then. Just leave Halo 5 alone. And leave the fans who do like Halo 5 alone. Like, you don't like this game, if you hate it, fine, whatever. I don't care. Just leave the Halo fans who do like it, like me and everyone else who like Halo 5 alone. Like, just leave us alone, because it's annoying that anything about Halo 5, people have to be like, well, you're not a real Halo fan, or Halo 5 sucks, or just anything about Halo 5. When someone says, I really like Halo 5, then you go, well, you're not a real fan. Like, that's frustrating. That's why I'm upset with this community. That's why I made a whole video where I said I hate this community. Because how like some fans are treating the fans who love what 343 is doing, love what Halo, like, who really like Halo 5, who love Halo 5, they isolate them and treat them like you're not a real fan. Like, come on. Like, that's simply why I made this video. That's why I made that ranting video. Like, I'm just tired of just how people treat the Halo fans who like Halo 5. Like, I'm just tired of it. And just 343's Halo in general. Like, I'm just tired.